I've gotta look up the trailer because I've got to watch it on my end over here.
All right. Look, I'll tell you what.
Thanks for visiting the stream. Anybody who's out there watching, this is Get to the Good Part. Well, this is 2 out of 3 of Get to the Good Part. The third guy hasn't read the book yet, so he's got to keep it spoiler free. We're about to watch the trailer for the movie for the very first time. I'm not gonna lie, Chris is probably gonna cry a little.
It's possible.
I'm gonna try to man up. I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna try to power through it. I am so freaking excited,
dude. This looks good. Oh, this looks so fucking good. Yeah.
It does. We'll do breakdown and stuff like that afterwards. I just want to get. I have to watch it now. I have to watch it now. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. So let me ask you before we get started, just as a technical question.
You're fucking killing me here, Chris.
I know, dude. I know. I want to make sure that we don't hear you listening to it while I'm playing the trailer. You follow? So
yeah.
How are you listening to it?
I've got my phone here.
Okay.
And
you gonna plug your jack into it for your headset?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Or you could just simply. Well, no, I don't want you to mute your microphone. We want the live fucking response. So go ahead and just plug your headset into it.
Yeah, I've got it taken care of. Hold on a second. Let me get it queued up here.
Oh, are you watching?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hold on.
Now you
I'm about to plug my headset into my computer.
Well,
so.
Okay, you do the 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'll do 3, 2, 1, and then I'll point to you.
All right, cool.
Sorry about this, folks. A little last minute coordination. Oh god, here we go.
All right.
I live here in Columbus, Ohio. In 2045, it's still ranked the fastest growing city on Earth. But it sure doesn't seem like it when you live in the stacks. They called our generation the missing millions. Missing not because we went anywhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere except the oasis.
Oh, God.
The only place that feels like I mean anything. A world where the limits of reality are your own imagination.
Oh, that's so kick-ass. Oh. All right. I'll wait for you to get your headset back on.
Okay.
If you write anything on your computer, you need to get Grammarly.
I write pretty much.
My hands are shaking a little bit.
Dude, chills.
Oh, so good.
That looks so much better than I thought. I was not sure how they were going to do that. Holy crap.
If you were concerned before, you've got to be a little more relaxed now, right? You would think.
I'm absolutely vibed. So
that was awesome.
And they pulled in a lot of additional references. There was the Freddy Krueger, which you gotta imagine is probably like a profile that a person could wear, and they're just pulling crap in from so many locations.
Well, see, and that's the thing. When I immediately wondered that, because when they're in that fight scene toward the end,
right? Yeah,
that looks like the battle. But by the way, guys, we're going to be doing spoilers.
Totally.
So if you haven't seen the movie, if you haven't read the book, first of all, read the fucking book. You're gonna love it. It's such a great book.
So we can,
but if you're not looking for spoilers, like, hop off. We love having you here, and we hope you stay. But hop off, because like we don't want to ruin the book for you. That said, clear out. Give them 3 seconds. But that scene reminded me of the clan battle. At the very end.
Let me pull back. Can we do this chronologically, and let me pull the video back to the beginning and step through it? Because I don't want to. Yeah, well, that'll put it into context, and we can kind of
Sure,
there we go. All right, so first opening shot is we're pulling into the stacks, and this is a way better image of the stacks than I think I had imagined. This is pretty freaking, like, I wouldn't have even imagined how this would be possible, and this just lays it down beautifully. You with me here?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm putting it on mute. I'm just queuing it up again.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the stacks look just incredible, and I love it. I love that you get that peek into the window.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like when he's climbing down the stacks, and you see inside that window, and woman's just like, just totally decked out in the spandex, doing like aerobics and stuff.
Well,
it paints the picture that this is a world consumed by 1980s pop culture.
I don't think she was in her aerobics. Dude, she's on a pole. She's stripping in the Oasis.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I missed that.
It's a second 9.
Oh, that is hysterical.
Oh my god.
I thought she was
doing her aerobics.
Look at that. She's sweating to the 80s or some shit. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, that's
she's got her headset on. You got to imagine, like, she's got like a motion sensor of some sort.
That's a stripper. Without question.
Folks in the Oasis, no matter how much you weigh, you can be a successful stripper. I'm keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, so I touch it forward a smidge. Next scene is him climbing down, and we're in the trailer. I'm looking at second 14, and I'd always kind of wondered how there wasn't any description for how it could capture his face, but this did a really good job. It's a thing that goes around the neck, scans the face for, I imagine, to sync up the lips with the words being done as far as the facial gestures and whether or not you're getting angrier. Yeah. I was kind of curious as to how they would make that bridge, because they only described the haptic visor and the gloves, and here they've got this extra piece of equipment that kind of fills in the gap. So already you can tell that Spielberg's like, we've got to kind of fill in the technology to answer questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a departure from what I expected. I guess I didn't really know. I tried to just lay my expectations on the ground. First of all, it reminds me of those headphones you see that people wear at work and stuff,
like
where you wrap
the Bluetooth
around.
Ones, right?
Yeah. So I wonder if that's just the battery for that thing, or it's kind of hard to tell. Hey, will you just give me a second here?
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I'll be right back.
Okay. You bet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bear with us as Ryan goes to play with the noise a bit, but still, looking at that though, I'm not sure if that's the battery or just the contraption that handles the digital aspect of it and then syncs up with all the rest of the haptic equipment. Looks cool, and it's a good way to answer that sort of question.
Sorry about that, folks.
No, it's cool, man.
The kids are just as excited as I am.
So that's a nifty piece of, that's neat that they're filling in. Just don't worry about it. That shit happens. They're excited too, by God.
Yeah, I know.
And speaking of which, I can't think of any reason why this movie would be rated R. Is there anything you can think of? Were there any cursing? I mean, hashtag
in the
cursing?
book.
Yeah, that you can think of. I mean, I gotta imagine this is going to be PG.
I mean, there's like there's like and again, spoiler territory. There's like a 2-page description of how people find porn in the Oasis. You remember?
I do, and we did
when he first moves into his apartment in Columbus.
We did just see a stripper on a pole, or somebody doing very fancy aerobics.
Yeah, we'll call it aerobics. Well, hey, I mean, but that's a thing now, isn't it?
Pole aerobics.
People do that. Yeah,
I think they do it because they recognize strippers keep awesome bodies, probably because they're on poles.
Well, no, I mean it is like it's a viable workout.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not. I think it's like that thing where it's kind of like feel sexy and get a good workout. Do stripper aerobics or pole aerobics or something like that.
I don't know. I don't pretend to know.
You don't? Are you sure?
I don't. No
poles in your house.
I'll tell you this. Full disclosure, we'll get right back to the trailer here. I have actually tried jumping and dancing on a pole once.
Was it a fireman's pole?
I don't want to talk about it, but I don't want to go into detail. It wasn't, believe me, it wasn't anything that I was like trying to. I wasn't trying to impress anybody because that wouldn't have happened. No, it was embarrassing. But it's hard work. It's hard work.
You gotta get on the pole. You gotta throw your whole self onto it, man.
Even in a virtual world, it's hard. I'm sure. All right, but anyways, we digress.
I've jumped ahead to second 20, which really showed that kind of full facial scan thing. And keep in mind, folks, Ryan he can't see what we all see. He can't even see me talking, which is to his benefit, really. But
I'm behind the lag a little bit.
he's jumping ahead to the moment on his phone, so I'm calling out the time. And calling out the time to you as well. So if you want to keep track of it as well, you can match up time too. But I liked how the little scanner just kind of does that full facial laser scope of his head there. And maybe that's how, if you want to have an Oasis avatar and you want it to look a lot like you, that you do that facial scan and you kind of have a base blueprint for what you could look like, and then you start to improve it, like removing the zits and that kind of thing.
Right, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it does.
That also, folks, is why he's looking down, because phone is probably down.
Yeah, it is.
But do you see the second at second 22 or 20?
Yeah.
Love the IOI glasses or the gloves that he puts on.
Yeah. This is pretty cool. I didn't expect the visor to kind of look like, and you only get like a glimpse of it there. But it just looks like it looks like ski goggles almost. You know what I mean? Those like just it's just the strap and just something very simple. Like I almost had in my mind something that just kind of like, came down, or even was something simpler than that, because the way it's described in the book is that it's not like you're seeing an image really.
Right.
It's more like there's light just going directly into your eye, like a laser, and then painting the image directly onto your eye.
Well, that's how they described it in the book, exactly like that, was that it was a laser being shot into your eye and painting it right onto your retina, or maybe that was the more expensive version. Jump to second 25 and tell me what you see.
Okay. Let's see. He's wearing IOI goggles.
He is. So IOI has gotten into the hardware game too. They're not just doing networking, they're providing competitive hardware as well.
Which is something that we had discussed before too.
Yeah.
And it's not just hardware outside of the Oasis. It's not just hardware in the real world. This is hard. Like they're building sort of like, if you could imagine, like DLC within the Oasis as well.
Right.
So they're kind of cornering the market on the inside and the outside.
And there's an interesting thing on his glove. It says VH, and it almost looks like it says 4, but I wonder if that's not like a throwback to VH1, the television show, because VH1 actually took over a lot of the 80s and 90s videos after MTV kind of gave up the ghost on that.
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it was virtual haptic.
Shit. Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Like because those, I mean, they're referred to throughout the book as haptic gloves because they give that haptic feedback.
Okay.
Like so you can feel things within the Oasis. That's the point of those gloves. Is if you can imagine, when you play a console game and you've got your controller and it gives you that sort of that feedback, that buzz when you shoot a gun or something like that.
Right.
The way that I've always imagined those haptic gloves is like, if it provides resistance. So like if you pick up a sword, you can only close your fingers to, the bounds of what that sword is, right?
Sure.
So it feels like you're holding it, and it can even maybe simulate weight to a certain degree when you're moving it by providing a little bit of resistance. I'm not really sure. I'm just I'm imagining now.
That's pretty fucking cool. Like I love the idea of looking at the gloves here, and I could imagine that you could inflate or you could stiffen in some way the areas underneath the finger. You see the sort of lining, and then you see an exposed tip, which would allow you to then work with mobile devices or to actually feel potentially through the glove on your fingertips, kind of like those gloves in the wintertime where you have the fingers that come through, and even though it's capped on the end, it has that special surface for working with mobile devices.
Well, and we're getting into right now on the podcast, we're actually getting into we just passed the first gate. So we just faced the Serac. We just got past the part where he plays Joust against the Serac and at the end of Tomb of Horrors. I mean, those haptics are extremely important. I mean, if you can imagine what it's like to play on a virtual joystick.
Yeah.
Right. It's awkward. It's clunky. It's got to be kind of difficult without, proper haptics. I'm sure that's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's playing on a keyboard. He has to interact with the machine within the Oasis. So those haptic gloves and this whole setup that he has right here is super important.
Oh yeah.
But let's move on. Let's not talk hardware the whole time.
No, we'll jump ahead. So
nerd out on hardware.
Hey, you know what? We've got a lot of video. There's a lot of details here. So I'm going to jump ahead to 30 second 30, the 30 second mark.
Yeah.
And I want to reflect back onto like that first thing you end up seeing.
The 2001 Space Odyssey kind of thing.
Yeah, like just this. I'm not even sure necessarily how that would be, but you have the description of the laser being painted. I'm really kind of in awe as to how they're kind of doing the interface, because when I'm thinking about this, like there were also additional interface features that allowed you to like see emails coming through or screens to pop up in that virtual world.
Like a heads-up display.
Yes, exactly like a HUD. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I saw this. And then that feeling when you put the headset on, that rush forward into the new world, almost like you're warping into that reality. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the reality around you just streams out. Really, it just pushed ahead to like second 33 there. So the next scene that comes up, I'm looking at Mark 34. What do you think this is from?
This I know exactly what this is from. This is from Og's birthday.
Yes.
This is the zero gravity dance club scene. And when we've talked to people on Reddit, on Twitter and in other places, this is the scene that a lot of people said that they absolutely wanted to see. This is a really great scene in the book too.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into what the book, this scene in the book or anything like that, but let's just take a look at it. I mean, it basically just looks like a bunch of jellyfish, which is, I think that was the way he kind of described it in the book, didn't he? I don't know that he said jellyfish. But...
Well, the way that it was described in the book is that you were in a huge dome and that all the outside of the dome had its own gravity. So you could walk all the way around. In this scene, we see a flat arena. We do see people that are dancing above,
right? But
it's still in a horizontal format. They're not dancing, some upside down. And then you have these floating platforms. I don't remember that described in the book, but again, licensing difference here. This looks really spectacular, where you have separate platforms also floating up in the air. And I get it, cinematically, it would be very weird to be inside of a round dome where everywhere you looked, you saw the tops of people's heads, and then tried to look at the people in the middle. When you're using your camera, you want to look up at people and not have the background look like you're falling, which is kind of what it would look like.
But so right now, I think the biggest thing for me, okay, and what I want to catch out of this, because we're talking about, we're with regard to the trailer, okay, so this is our first shot. If you were to go back to 25, where we kind of paused for a minute, and he's putting on the haptics and everything, this is our first shot, and we don't. It's kind of important to outline here. We don't get a shot of his face as he's walking into the club, but he is walking into the club in the Oasis, okay? This right here, and this isn't a surprise for, the scenery, but even his character, as far as I understand, is CGI.
I think, yeah, but the way CGI has gone recent years, they didn't dumb it down. They didn't make it look unrealistic for the sake of being CGI. I think this is going to be very Matrixy. I think the real world is going to be dull and crummy, and I think that the real world or the VR world, the Oasis, is going to be spectacular and bright and just over the fucking top everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of tell it's CGI, but I think, it's... Let's push forward a little bit, because I want to see. Now that we're going kind of frame by frame, I want to see how that looks as we go on.
Yeah, absolutely. So before
that dance club scene is so cool.
I'm at the 40-second mark, and you have that panning up view up this what is now a cylindrical view, it seems like, or a cylindrical room where you have you see the people dancing toward the light above them, and that's just before the Warner Brothers logo drops into the movie, which is at point 44. Yeah. So
okay. So all right.
Take it to the next point. Yeah. Oh my God.
We've got the Iron Giant walking up, but to the right, who do we have?
Oh, two swords. Ooh, I'm trying to remember. There's a force field around a castle behind him. So I'm thinking they're going to put the whole book in the movie, dude.
It's either Daisho or it's Daisho, right?
Maybe.
Or Shoto. Yeah.
Shoto or Daisho. Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you
think maybe one of them's operating.
Resist spoilers. We'll resist the spoilers.
Spoilers are done. Like, if you're watching this, chances are you've read the book. I mean, yeah. Don't even worry about spoilers. But I got to think that one of them had gotten past the certain gate where you're allowed to have Iron Man or the Iron Giant, because Iron Giant was one of the awards for the second gate.
Right.
So maybe
so this is like pre-final battle, I guess. Because that's Iowa. That seems to be Iowa's shield around Anorak's castle back there.
That's what I'm thinking. I always imagined Anorak's castle to be like around a forest. I was thinking like lush foresty area. This looks very gray.
But remember, people have known where the third gate is for a long time, or not a long time, but long enough for every gunter in the Oasis to come in and occupy space there.
Sure.
So you're looking at a terrain that's been basically occupied by everybody in the Oasis. Whether they're participating in the battle against Iowa. So you're looking at a terrain that's been, or they're just spectating, they're there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can expect that the landscape's just trashed. If there were trees, they were gone a while ago.
All right. Oh, I see. Well, it's the Oasis. Like, just because you trample over grass doesn't mean it died.
No, I know that, but I mean, but the thing is that you're probably dealing with, in the Oasis, they've described it as a reactive environment, right?
Sure.
So if you come in with a bunch of ships, burning thrusters through this world, and then getting out and just clearing space for a giant battle, you would expect that, you've got a pretty clear space around the castle by this point.
I guess
it's scorched earth.
It's scorched, motherfucking scorched earth. It's got no trees, no one's alive, everything's dead, it's burnt. You're out of luck. I could see that. The thing that kind of I thought was odd here was that his back is towards that. Like, this is just an odd scene. So I'm wondering maybe if this is them going on a mission in the meantime.
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this was actually after the battle, when everybody just kind of gets, blown to nothing. And then Wade is just trying to find his way out of that pit to reach the gate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So this almost looks like the view up from that, but I don't think that's it, because at this point, none of the people who are standing there would be there.
Yeah, the force field's still up, and the force field went down when all that shit blew up.
But when I was watching through the trailer for the first time, that was the first thing that hit me.
Okay. All right.
Let's move on. This is just a one part. God, so cool.
So much fucking Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg.
Okay, so now we've got this little fountain scene here.
So this is where he does the circle in his car.
I can see that, Chris.
Shut up. I'm describing it for everyone else too. All right. In case
hey guys, in case you can't see that, he's doing a circle in his car.
It's hard to tell.
Sorry.
All right.
Holy Grail of pop culture. Is that what it says next to Ernest Cline's Holy Grail of pop culture?
Fucking awesome.
It really is. It's more like the Library of Congress of pop culture. Just all of it shoved into one book. Okay, so all right, guys. Now we're getting into the meat of it.
You're gonna see. We're gonna
just
see.
Past, we're getting to the good part.
There's your fucking scorched earth.
Stay on brand. This is the battle that we've been talking about. And okay, so frame by frame, let's just kind of go through it. Is that Batman, first of all?
Did you say, is that Batman?
Yeah.
There is so much shit going on. I see a dude that's kind of like standing on top of a mech-like
a mech scorpion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's freaking riding so I'm pretty sure
it looks like Batman.
With a sword. So I don't know what that's.
It's the Oasis, man. Fucking anything goes. It could be Batman with an AR-15.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Do whatever you want.
He could just have the fucking scowl and cape, and it could be like Fonz.
Right.
We don't know.
Oh my god.
Oh.
But that mech scorpion. It's so hard to make out. There's so much going on. Jesus. But this Freddy Krueger shot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you haven't read the book and you're wondering what to expect out of this movie, this little clip here,
everything.
Is it really that? Like, are there moments of absurdity like that? Absolutely. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of haters to this book. So when you go and if you're new to it, if you go and you do research, you're going to find a lot of people in threads on Reddit, places like that have nothing good to say about the book, because it's so derivative in a lot of ways. It's got a lot of pop culture references. This visualization here, where it's like, what would it look like if Batman were riding a mech scorpion and Freddy Krueger were lunging across to take somebody out in fighting in this giant battle. When you read it, it's like, that's fucking absurd.
It is fucking absurd.
When you see it,
it looks fucking awesome.
Amazing. It's so cool. This is gonna be so fun to watch.
I love the portrayal that anyone can look like anything. Like, your entire avatar can be inspired and built as a composite of a million things, or just embracing one thing. Like, somebody comes in and says, I want to look like fucking Freddy Krueger. Boom. You look like fucking Freddy Krueger.
Not only that, but I want to have his attack. I want his claw.
Yeah. I bet that costs a little extra. But looking ahead to section, just a hair after, I'm going forward to minute 101, after he blows up Freddy Krueger, and so much shit's happening, it's got to be dead on one-on-one. But there's a little dude off of the bottom with a rocket launcher that I swear looks like Duke Nukem.
Well, they said Duke Nukem was going to be making a cameo in the movie.
Well, it might be, because he's got the red wife beater, blue jeans, looks like a little buzz cut going on there, and the rocket launcher wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, they did. No, I can't remember where where I saw it. If one of you guys remembers, let me know. But there was at some point they said that Duke Nukem was definitely making a cameo in the movie.
Come get some.
You know,
Matt Margolis actually posted that in
really
Facebook,
funny
so it
how
made me giggle.
It's really funny to me how often it seems like Duke Nukem comes up on this podcast. We're not particularly like huge Duke Nukem fans. It just seems to pop in there every now and again.
It's
no idea why.
It's horribly iconic in video games, just almost ashamingly so. So I don't recognize all of the references. I'm looking at minute 103, and holy shit, that's H.
Okay.
Oh, I totally missed this. This is what H looks like? This is fucking H's avatar?
Hold on a second. Easy there, guy.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm holding on. 103.
Wait, the big ass thing?
Yes. Look on his vest. Look on his left shoulder at point 103.
What is it? What am I looking at?
Well, you should see big guy grimacing, gun with sparks. Look look where you would see my
Just tell me what I'm looking at.
AECH.
Where?
Got to bring that phone up, man.
I guess I'm missing it.
I just got lucky. Ryan Johnson said it looks like Voldemort orc. Voldemort.
Yeah, I'm sliding through trying to.
It's rough to kind of nail that one point. I get it.
Just trying to. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Everybody watching. All right. Apparently we've got some chat happening in the stream. And I don't have that up, so I'm sorry. Chris, if you see anything, will you bring it up? Any questions or anything like that?
Yeah, I've noticed it, and I've occasionally mentioned a couple people that have mentioned some stuff.
Cool.
But I'll tell you what, though. I can probably capture the video URL at the current time and send it to you. I think this is an interesting point, so bear with here, and I'll get it for you.
Yeah, no, see if we'll just screenshot it and circle it, and then we'll throw it up on... We'll throw it up. Okay. But let's get back to it here.
Okay.
All right, so...
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, now we get the Are You Ready?
Mm.
And the army of assholes just running out to their cars.
Oh, this is when the chills happened. I felt the hairs on my arms raising. They're not the same person. They're robots, and that's just fucking perfect. When you talk about like a modification of how IOI is consuming the Oasis, the idea that they are automatons, so they are robots and not real people, just kind of settles it even deeper.
Well, I see. And now, okay, so here's a point for those of you out there who want to take issue, right? Take issue with a departure from the book. They're supposed to have the default avatar look. In the book, they say, every IOI stooge is just every sixer is the default avatar look.
Right.
Which is just, like a plain guy or a plain girl kind of look, just stock.
Right.
This is a big departure from it. I gotta say though, it's a departure that I'm totally cool with because it looks awesome.
It's fierce. Like it also separates what look like humans and you kind of get a feel for, and you also feel a degree of vulnerability with these seemingly invincible freaking robots. This is kind of harkens back to iRobot when you had just a legion of robots heading for them, and you knew that they were fast and they could rip your shit up, and who knows what other equipment comes popping out of those suits. And here's a scene where it looks like they're prepping to race, which kind of screams to me that they're not just involved in trying to police and take over. They are deeply involved in winning the prizes across all levels, even in just a freaking race where it should just be players in the Oasis racing. IOI sends 100 people to try and win a race, and when they win that prize, it goes to IOI. So IOI is like consuming the awards that are presented potentially for anybody in the Oasis, and that would just fucking piss me off. You know, it would be as if, you know, it was like if you're watching if you're watching what's the stock car where they go in circles and they always make lefts? NASCAR. Like if you're watching NASCAR, shut up. That shit just eludes me. Like if you're watching NASCAR and there was only the M&M car was the only car that was different than everyone else, and everyone else was on the same team. It's not fair. You're not playing against individuals. I love this. I love the angle they're taking here. I've not seen anything to piss me off.
But 1 minute and 35 seconds, okay?
Oh, we're jumping
fast. We've got 3 people barreling through. One of them, monster truck. Chris thinks it's H. I'm starting to agree because he's in this a lot. Then at 1:35, almost exactly, we've got a motorcycle roll into frame, and you know who that is.
Oh, shit, no. Hold on a second. 1:35, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh,
that's
yes,
Artemis.
It is. That's got to be Artemis.
Without question, that's Artemis. And you got a couple really good shots of her coming up here. This one right here at, it's like 140, I think. Hold on. Yeah, 139, 140.
She's got an Atari.
When she does that sick turn and like reaches down. Oh my God, that's so cool looking.
So she's got an Atari brand bike. How kick-ass is that?
Does she?
She does.
See. I'm going to watch it back. I'm just going to keep watching it, I think. Oh my God, that's so cool.
I'm gonna pull it back and play it for everybody.
Did they bring up the bike at any point? I think they did.
I don't remember there being a race, but this might be a great example of how Artemis and H compete in the Oasis, because they talk about competing, and Artemis is just totally badass. You got to think that she does competition because her experience has gone up. So I'm just gonna replay this part. Oh yeah. Oh, that slow motion slide.
Yeah.
Now, the point that I want to jump in here is that at 1:45 and 1:44, we get a picture of the DeLorean.
The DeLorean.
So it makes me wonder if they've kind of reached that point together where now they're competing together. Because I don't think this is part of the race to get the key, unless they've really modified what it takes to get the fucking key, or unless they're all.
This is. Sorry, go ahead. I think this is a getaway scene. I think this scene is a fight between them and IOI. And it might be what I would guess is that this is a gap filler a little bit for later in the book when they talk about how Artemis and Parzival are basically going on dates and things like that. This could be, I think, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. In the Oasis, it pretty much would be especially for the two of them, right?
Yeah.
And it could be, instead of going out and like looking at beautiful scenery and all that kind of thing, their thing is to go out and just cause shit for IOI.
Right.
Where they go and they're just basically almost like, like a rebel squad in the Oasis, just going and fucking with the Empire. And they're just going out and, and doing that kind of thing. And this could just be like, a lot of gap filler in the middle of the movie. I think there is a good portion in the middle of the book between the first and second gate where he and Artemis are, they're really fleshing out the relationship between Wade and Artemis. And And it's interesting. Like I wondered how they would handle that in the movie, because it is sort of I won't say a low point in the book, because it is important.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as action goes, there's really not a lot. And
yeah.
really for several months in book time, nothing happens. So you have to fill that with something, right?
Right.
I think this is it.
I'm sketching back to 137, and if I could imagine a scenario where you have the three of them, they've obviously reached a place where they're beyond the first key. And let's assume that the movie holds at least loosely to the chronology of who finds the key where and when.
Mm-hmm.
Then if they're getting together and they're having a date, maybe they all sign up to be in this race, and the surprise that IOI has packed this race with their players with the sole intention of not just knocking them out of the race, but killing them during the race. That now it becomes a desperate move to another attempt, if you will, to assassinate them in the arenas that they choose to partake in.
Right.
And maybe this is it goes from race to assassination plot in this moment. Because at 137, it clearly looks like that you've got roads that jump and come over, and the scenes before it's set up like it's a race with the light countdown, the revving and shit. So I wonder if this isn't a situation where it's an assassination plot to basically kill the three of them during a race that they otherwise would just be partaking in a date maybe of some sort.
Possibly.
I don't know. I'm really curious about that.
We'll have to see. This is as far as like for those of you who are out there, big fans of the book, big fans that have just been waiting for this like us. This is one of those parts in the trailer that comes up where we're kind of scratching our heads a little bit. Chris, will you check the feed? Has anybody given us any feedback on this? And call them out by name, because I want to know who's talking.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
A lot of the people watching us right now are longtime listeners of the show, and we thank you guys and love having you around. A lot of people watching us right now are. Let me see.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of feedback. Ron Ford said I have over the years become tired of Tom Sawyer. This movie may save that song for me.
I understand why, because if you listen to classic rock radio, it's the only fucking Rush song that they ever play. Well, I mean, they play others too.
But that's
the one that just gets hammered on.
I imagine that they're going to hammer on a lot of old songs, a lot of songs that hit in the 80s and the 90s that are really popular. So if you're sick of something, who knows? Maybe it'll show up here. Holy crap, cool. Check out minute 141 if you can, where she's doing the slow motion side. She's got like a Sega sticker and a Hello Kitty sticker with a heart on it. Very Artemis, I'd imagine. Just super freaking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that this is a female outline riding the bike here, but this just kind of nails down a certain level of personality as well.
Yeah.
Just super cool.
Just like that, yeah. It does fit Artemis's character pretty perfectly.
All right, you want to take us to the next point?
Are there any others?
No, I'll get to it. I'll pop them out if they are.
Okay. All right, so here we go. We're cruising down. This is our first shot of the DeLorean too. Now Steven Spielberg mentioned that he was not going to put anything from his movies into Ready Player One. He wasn't going to allow it, which to a lot of people was like their first battle cry of like, what? It's like, no, you can't do that, because there's a lot of reference to Steven Spielberg's work. The thing is I think even from that point, he said the DeLorean stays. So we knew it was going to be in there. The DeLorean's a big part of the book.
Here's what I'm not.
I don't see the Ghostbusters symbol.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm not seeing Ghostbuster reference, and I wonder if it's because they don't have access to that licensing material.
Could be. That would suck.
It really would.
That would suck to take out any. Because I was hoping to see in that battle royale just a giant fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, was that in the book? I don't remember that, but that'd be fucking awesome.
I don't think it was, but like think about it this way. Okay, so that battle scene, and I did want to tie back to this. So thinking back to that battle scene, okay?
Right.
You've got Freddy Krueger lunging out, right?
Right.
Like, I don't remember a specific mention of Freddy Krueger either.
Right.
But you got to remember, if you go through, when you get into the final clan battle at Acererak's castle, there are he was turning up the more obscure references at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to imagine it's something like that. They still have to make it accessible, because what they want out of that scene, and this is just like in my mind, this is what I'm seeing. They want fucking Where's Waldo, man. They want
everyone
the
is a
action
virgin.
happening. That's Waldo, but they want everything else to be worth looking at. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And if it's something super obscure, they're gonna be like, oh, it's a fucking robot. Oh, it's a ninja. You know, I mean, they're gonna like push that to the side. But if you got Freddy Krueger lunging at you, Duke Nukem shooting a fucking rocket launcher, you know, who knows, like Sonic the Hedgehog coming through and tearing people up. Clearly, they've got licensing from Sega. So you might see a few of those characters in there.
Oh, well, I got to imagine that every big business, Atari and Sega and Nintendo, is all of them are going to jump into the advertising bit. Like
Nintendo's weird about their licensing, though.
Yeah,
they're
okay.
really weird about it.
But it's an advertising battle royale. I mean, nothing is thrown out here because every reference is a point of advertising. Like, this has got to be raking in, just from advertising bucks, gargantuous amounts of money. Like, were you in the 80s and somewhat significant? Well, guess what? That fits into our movie. It's not just product placement. You're a character.
It's your time to shine.
So I'm looking
great.
here. So somebody had mentioned that, I think Matt Margolis had mentioned that he saw a Ghostbuster reference on it. I did see in the tire, and it's very blurry, that it's that it's a red and white. So it looks like maybe there's a red and white cross.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Or maybe it's even like red with the white with the red through it, like the Ghostbuster symbol is maybe spray painted onto the wheels or some shit. I'm looking at
Matt, if you just post in there like a minute marker, dude, where you saw that.
I'm looking at minute 143 and 140. Let me jump.
I want to know what he said.
144 is where I am.
I see. Yeah, I'm sitting where you're at, but I want to know where he saw it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you get a pretty good long view of the car there, and that's not the only shot of the DeLorean. I think you get a brief one right before that. Okay,
in this moment in the race, those vehicles are so trashed up, and the Parzival's time machine here looks pretty badly scratched and a lot of paint traded. So it might be not only that it's blurry, but that it's just covered up and marred with crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he post it? We'll come back to it if we need to.
We got a couple people that see Ghostbusters. One person said, Aaron Margolis said that he saw the license plate that says Parzival on it. And there's just so much that happens so fast. Oh, super fuzzy, but I see the place where I can see the bumper sticker, but it's very, very fuzzy.
I saw it, yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. That is so fucking cool. Like, just the detail that is going to be in this movie.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's just going to be unbelievable.
Just wild. Where do you want to go next?
Okay, let's just press on from where we were. Okay, so we are in what looks like, at this point, they kind of round that corner from coming off of that giant flying leap. And they're in what looks like New York's financial district. Like, it looks like a Wall Street kind of situation. Or it could be like Columbus. That's what I'm really actually thinking it probably is the simulated Columbus, because IOI has a simulated Columbus, right?
Sure. Oh yeah, I'd imagine.
I mean, that's where their headquarters is, within the Oasis. So I think what they're doing is again, in tying back into them coming through and screwing with IOI.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read that race scene a little bit differently. I don't know if it wasn't just like IOI doing like a training thing, and then them just coming through and tearing through the middle of it. Because when you see the beginning, and who we're calling H in the giant monster truck comes ripping up from behind to tear through them. So it's almost like the three of them are like just rocking through them. I could be wrong about that, and I probably am. I mean, hell, we're just speculating right now, but
yeah.
But we got these wrecking balls just swinging through the city, and clearly controlled by IOI there.
Ryan Johnson mentioned that when the IOI get into their cars, the ticker on the side says the copper key, and he says he thinks that it's a race for the copper key.
Oh.
Now,
okay.
I would be disappointed if that was the case, because I really want to see them go through the Tomb of Horrors.
But he makes a good point, because he said that I think it was pretty recently, Ryan Johnson, that they say, I can't remember, I think it was Steven Spielberg, but if it wasn't him, it was somebody else attached to the movie. But they basically said, how those keys are obtained, or the challenges or the riddles, those are things that would change.
Right.
More than likely.
Right.
And you can see that, that makes sense.
God. Imagine if
it would be a huge change.
Imagine if the race for a particular key, and I got to wonder that if they get in the car, maybe it's that they've already got the copper key. And like a lot of peeps who put gamer tags on, they'll have like a gamer banner, and that gamer banner keeps track of their accomplishments. So getting into that IOI car might not only give their number and their IOI, the letters, the number IOI, but it might also give like a little bit of a gamer brag point where it says, I got the copper key, like a sort of a status symbol that's put right onto the car to sort of rub it in, that you're competing against other people now that have the copper key. That would be really cool if one of the keys was, you've got to win this race.
Yeah.
But that would make it impossible for everyone to potentially get it, and that would be a strange bottleneck.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if like the ticker could mean like go get the copper key, like that's what they're after, like that's their directive.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back. I want to see that.
Yeah.
That was a good catch, by the way, man.
I want to
Ryan
see that
Johnson.
too.
Thank you. Great catch. I want to see this. Bear with us here.
I'm jumping ahead. I'm doing it myself, so I'm jumping ahead to around minute 112.
I see it.
What minute are you on?
I'm at minute 116, folks. And I see it says win the copper key.
So maybe.
Huh. Great catch, man.
You said you see this at 116?
116, yeah. Or you could go a little bit ahead of that. Just roll into it from 112 is where I started.
Okay.
When they go outside, if you look up at the top right and at the top left, there's that like sort of marquee kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see win the copper key.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
You see?
Oh, I see
catch,
it.
man.
Oh, very
awesome.
good catch. Holy smokes. Well done. Yeah, great point. I love how their faces have IOI and their numbers are brightly lit. Like there is no question who the enemy is.
Yeah.
Okay, jump me ahead. Where do you want to go?
Well, let's go ahead from the. We're almost done here. After we get past this little wrecking ball scene, which is pretty awesome, we see Wade rip his visor off. Anything to be extrapolated from that scene? I don't see anything really like in the background or anything. The only thing that I would say about that little scene is, at what point is he ripping his visor off?
Huh. I'd like to also note something else.
That almost reminds me of the Sorrento part.
Like what would surprise him so much that he would pull that visor off that caused that kind of look of panic?
Well, when he tells, at that point in the book, Sorrento tells him, if you log off right now, I will kill you. And Wade pretty much comes to the realization that, well, if I give him what he wants, he's still going to kill me. Because why would he keep me around? So he tells him to go fuck himself. Just rips off his hat, his gloves and his visor. So he's shaking. Remember?
Yeah. So Chris Nixon says it looks like a reflection of Sorrento in the visor.
Ooh.
Here's another thing. We're at minute 149 here, and he's not wearing that weird taped up customized thing around his neck anymore. He has a more sophisticated piece of IOI hardware hanging around his neck.
Yeah, good call. So this is after he's made a little bit of money.
But looks like maybe still in the van. Yeah, it's still messy as shit. But
yeah, he's still in the van. So that fits the timeline.
Yeah, I could see that because he would have already started getting money coming in.
Oh, that's a good catch, though. But if you look at the visor, before he rips it down, there's somebody sitting in... Yeah, I see what you're saying, man.
Holy shit, that is Sorrento. That abso-fucking-lutely is.
Good call.
Well done. Bravo. Like, we would have gone over this a million times and started plucking shit out, but it's always good to have people watching it with you to see what else they pull out. Holy smokes.
That's great.
Wow.
Good catch, man.
I did not see that the first time.
You must have been watching that in slow motion to catch that. That is wild.
That's not a bad idea. I might end up watching it in slow motion, take some notes, but that's freaking awesome.
Great catch, man. That is so cool. So yeah, that's the point. That right there. So I mean, it's not confirmation, but you know, that gives a little bit of a nudge, a hint that part remains in the movie where they blow up the stacks.
And you fucking called it. You saw it on his face and you were like, you pegged it, man. Where else would he have that look?
Where he's like, holy shit. Like,
it could have been anything. It could have been him at a strip club.
Well, think about it. Like, this is nobody gives a damn about Wade. And like, you know, I mean, his life is pretty awful. The stacks are a rough place to live. I mean, his life is kind of in his own hands every time he exits his hideout.
Right.
But, you know, this is the first time that the Oasis is really threatening him to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like, his activities within the Oasis are threatening his life. And it's a really gripping part of the book. It's one of my favorite parts of the book, actually. The first conversation between Wade and Sorrento. Surreal. One of my favorite parts of the whole book.
Just freaking surreal.
It is, yeah.
Like, you come out of that, like, I read that and I was like, holy shit. Like, you know he's not in trouble, but you don't know if Sorrento is bluffing and then nothing happens, and as you read through it, or in my case, as Will Wheaton read it to me, then that shit happens. And in that moment, it goes from him being merely a threat to him being a real-world life and death. This is not just fucking Oasis. Like, it breaks the fourth wall, if you will, of the Oasis.
Yeah, that's great, man. All right.
Great catch.
So then we get the title card, Ready Player One. God damn, that looks cool.
Oh, yes, it does.
Really happy with that. And then to end it, we have the Crystal Key. Okay, and I want to point something out here, okay? If you play, or you're kind of moving it around for everybody, they can see in the stream.
I'm
right?
going, yeah. Wherever we go, wherever we talk about, we go in there.
Play the sound for that part when he's putting the key in.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
I heard it. I heard like a chink, and of course the background sound is
the background music
is just this shoom. You know, it just kind of gets
I'm talking
loud
about the
and
music.
Shuts off. Okay, well, what is that from?
Willy Wonka, when they walk into the factory, on the factory before that ding 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 ding.
Okay,
it reminded me of Willy Wonka when they walk into when they first walk into the factory floor before they see the Oompa Loompas. And he's singing that World of Pure Imagination song. There's that little like xylophone part, and that's exactly what that reminded me of. That little ending riff.
I can see that. We have anything else beyond that? I'm looking here, not really seeing anything else. We've got Zach Penn and Ernest Cline, Steven Spielberg. Nothing else really. That was not a teaser. That was a full-blown trailer. We both lost the fucking bet.
That was a full-blown teaser. I do want to point one thing out, okay? I do want to point one thing out, and I don't want to scare anybody. Don't be scared, because we still haven't listened to the whole panel. I haven't seen the panel video yet, so I don't know what they talked about. We're just going all over the trailer now.
Right.
But they don't say March 30th, 2018. They just say 2018.
Yeah.
And it makes me think, is the date subject to change? I hope not. For anybody who doesn't know, well, let's face it, if you're watching this, you already fucking know. The movie was pushed back from December of this year, but they didn't want to compete with Star Wars, which was a smart move because they'd be competing for the exact same audience.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's I found it a little bit weird that they didn't put the full date in there. I guess that's probably me over analyzing it, but
well, it's like anything production-wise. When it comes to development, they can throw out a projected release date, and marketing-wise, you want to plan for that. But should something happen, you don't want like that date nailed into a trailer.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of one of those things. It's like it's freaking out there, and somebody, if you wanted to change the date, you wouldn't want some kid going, "No, I saw the date in the trailer. It's right there." They couldn't pull that out. I swear it's that time. Like some kids like camping out in front of the fucking movie theater. They're camping in front of the movie theater. I know it's coming out tomorrow. I saw the date of the trailer. No, kid, they moved it back. Got to keep up. So, overall impressions, man.
Overall impressions. I mean, if you were worried going in, you got to feel a little better now. I mean, for me, I think that there are going to be drastic differences between the book and the movie. There's no question. But I think the thing that I like the most about this particular trailer is that they had enough that, you could recognize from the book to say, like, it's still going to resemble Ready Player One. It's still going to have a framework, Yep. Like that little thing, it's seeing Sorrento and the goggles there toward the end. If that's what it was, we're pretty sure it was. But that's a pivotal moment for setting up basically the second act of the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's still going to have a similar structure. Now there may be huge changes. I really like that. Was it Ryan Johnson that pointed out the win the copper key thing at the beginning of the race? I don't know what that could possibly mean. I mean, that to me is just so fucking interesting. How do you incorporate that into the movie? I mean, we'll be thinking about that, and we'll probably talk about it we can't really talk about it much on the podcast because we don't spoil anything for John. We can talk about that part, though.
We can talk about that.
We've passed the copper key. So as long as it doesn't touch anything else, we can bring it up with John.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I mean, for me, 100%, man. I fucking loved it.
Yeah. Chills. Fucking chills.
It's so good. I don't know how John is not watching it right now. He's got to be.
No.
He's got to be so pissed off. He's just sitting at home.
Sorry, dude. You can't watch the trailers for another 30 weeks. Oh, I don't know that he's gonna care. I mean, is he a big trailer fan? Like, obviously not.
Yes,
so much.
John lives and dies by that stuff, man. He loves it.
Oh,
yeah. This is fucking killing him.
This is gonna hurt. I mean, this doesn't give a whole lot away that's in the book. Like H is not represented in that way at all in the book. Artemis doesn't look like we saw her on the bike in the book as it's so far described.
A little closer than what H did, if that's H.
That's H. It's guaranteed it's H. But I mean, it's I mean, the way they had her up was sort of this steampunky, different clothes, and it looked different than her on the bike. But that's all we saw of her was her in a suit on the bike. So for all we know, that was just her in her racing suit. Who knows?
But when she walks into the tomb, she has kind of a racing suit on.
I don't remember that. See, I remember it being like a mishmash of like desert steampunk / warrior / laser gun shit. It was like a mishmash of stuff.
Read through it again. Read it again. You'll see what I mean.
It did not come across that way to me the 5 times I read it.
I had,
and the one time Will read
every time I've read it, I pictured like a racing suit,
like a skin tight suit,
like a blue skin tight racing suit with the elvish sword on the back and the blasters at the hip with the sagging belt.
I think you're thinking like a blue version of Kill Bill.
Yeah, almost exactly. Exactly.
That is not the description at all in the book of her. And on top of that, they say it's
read back again. Read back again.
You read back again. I'm reading it like now. But no matter. No fucking matter. I'm not going to take up the fucking time to go through it. But I'll tell you fucking what. If you want to look it up right now, you go right ahead, and I can pause and shit.
All right, guys. Well, Chris needs to get something to eat so he can calm down. He's getting cranky. I need to get off because it's hotter. It is hotter than hell in this room right now. I don't know if it's the heat or if it's just because my adrenaline is pumping. I think I'm just too fucking excited about this movie coming out. It's closer than you think. Let us know what you guys thought on Twitter, on Reddit, on Facebook. We want to hear your feedback on this. Chris, is this video going to be up for people to see even if they're not watching the live stream?
Absolutely. As soon as it's done, it'll be up on Facebook and YouTube to watch over and over again forever.
Awesome.
And ever.
And we'll push out an audio version of this as well, right?
Yep. I'm going to cut it out, podcast. Throw some ins on it. It'll totally be podcasted. It'll be out shortly.
Awesome. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it and be here with us and or watch this, go ahead and get back on YouTube. It's up there. If you just don't have the means of the time, throw it up on the podcast. Listen to it that way. I am so fucking excited right now. I'm wired, man. I'm gonna go dance with my kids or something. Just whatever you do this afternoon, have fun. And remember, our movie, it's not gonna be bad. It's gonna be good. We keep an open mind. Let's not get so worked up about it all the time.
Yeah.
This is proof.
That's our fucking job. Actually, you don't get worked up about it. Let us get worked up about it.
Yeah. Let us get angry. No, but seriously, I mean, it's not going to be the same as the book, guys. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be different, but it's going to be good, and it's going to be by the same people. It's not fan fiction. If the movie's made, it's not fan fiction. It's Ernest Cline making a movie. So have some hope. Again, I want to see what everybody thinks about this on social media. Let me know what you think of this.
Totally.
And yeah, so thanks for watching our first live stream. Friday, July 28th, we will be broadcasting live, doing this again. We're going to be playing through the Tomb of Horrors module at Suttrie's High Gravity Tavern in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's 409 South Gay Street, Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll also be streaming live, same way you found us this time. We'll tweet out the link. We're going to be raising money for the Extra Life Foundation, so we hope you can join us then. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you again very much for joining us. Signing off then. Woo. I'm Ryan.
I'm Chris. I'll see
you
guys later.
Above our head.
See you guys. Take care.